So first, just a prologue. Is there someone who was born in 1996? Is there someone from that year? Just by accident? Not yet. So I'm still not that old. What happened in that year? The most important thing, at least for me, is that we got married with my beautiful wife sitting here. And the other thing is that the most influential article was published in the management literature about change. This was the year of the birth of the 70% failure rate. 70% of organizational transformation efforts fail. At least, if you look at references, you can find this number very often. And I have to thank Dr. David Wilkinson from Oxford Research, who did a research to find out what's true about this number, because the most quoted article in Harvard Business Review in relation to change is about the difficulties in transformation, and the title is Why Transformation Efforts Fail, published in 96. And this article is quoted even with the 70%. And when you take the energy and you read the text, what you can read is just that. Look at the last sentence or the last paragraph. A few of these corporate change efforts have been very successful, a few have been utter failures. Most fall somewhere in between, with a distinct tilt toward the lower end of the scale. That's it. That referred as 70%. And guy and the lady from McKinsey did a research in 2008, and that's what they found. Asked managers how they rate the overall success of the transformation from the company, and that's what came up. These numbers, most of the time, referred as 1 out of 3 transformational efforts are successful. If you look at the numbers, I don't know how you can find that 1 out of 3. Maybe the somewhat successful is counted as not successful at all. And by the way, those who answered, I don't know, are not represented there. So there's not much data behind this 70%. And I really encourage you to look and search. 70% of transformation efforts fail. So it seems that the management literature, and also consultants, and I'm part of that word, have a tendency to scare the out of the managers in order to get more projects and more work to avoid those failures. So what I want to talk about is really some learnings that helped me, some concepts that supported me while I was working as an external consultant in Hungary in smaller, bigger transformational projects with my clients. And I cheated a bit because I did not read through all my diaries from the last 10 years, but I really browsed a few and looked for some stories or some concept I can share. But first, even yesterday, the concept change agent was mentioned several times. So who the hell is a change agent? I can bet that most of you are or were or have been change agents once in your life at least, because a change agent is a person who takes responsibility in a change effort, either because he or she was asked to or because he or she is willing to. It can be a formal role, it can be an informal role, but you just simply, you take responsibility, small or big, that one. And what is change? A movement from a current state, as we experience it, to some sort of desired state. Put it that simple. So it can be said from A to B, but from this current situation to something else. I want to share 4 pages from these diaries, 4 different stories, 4 different concepts that helped me sometimes to wake up, sometimes to learn how to handle situations in change projects. Let's see page 1. This year we spent quite a lot of energy with my colleagues to to figure out what the hell is happening in the transformation projects where we work. Big and small, we used to have the same experience. And the experience is about losing energy. From the beginning, when we are very enthusiastic with the client and we have quite a lot of ideas and commitment, and then after a month, after the big, large group session where all these action steps were decided, and then we go home or go back to the business as usual day-to-day work, and then most of the efforts just did not get realized. What the hell? What the hell is going on? So one possible explanation we found was that just we, and when I say we, I mean us as consultants and also the clients, we were too optimistic, saying that, oh, well, you know, there is commitment, we have a shared vision, we have a team, we support each other, there is big enthusiasm. So we just 3 small steps, and we are there, at the end of the tunnel where the light is. And then we had to realize that maybe all that stuff with the openness and the energy and the willingness and all the action areas and action steps defined, we are just not there. Maybe that's just a very, very small step. And all the so-called realization, it's like a marathon. And I especially love large group workshops where a whole system is there and you can feel the commitment and you can feel the energy, and you really believe, or at least I used to believe, that from here it's going to be just like a home run. And I still believe in the age of 51 that there is tremendous energy and it disappears. Not always, but partly because the business as usual has tremendous power. Yesterday, I think Moni was talking about habits. Business as usual is a habit. Just doing the day-to-day work. And also the optimism that we are almost there. We are almost there. Well, those of you who have small children, are we there yet? Is it familiar? Are we there yet? We are almost there. We are almost there. And in many transformational projects, I remember senior manager saying that, you know, guy, just after merge, we had 1 year building up the shared culture and the vision and all this kind of stuff. Next year, we are going to focus on saving costs. And how about this shared future? How about this shared identity? Well, now we have to focus on saving costs and lose all the credibility that we built up in the first year. So just where are we in the process? Just think about that. And of course, stay optimist. Just think about the process. Where are we there? Where are we exactly? What has been done and what's ahead of us? So that's on page 1. What's on page 2? What makes change happen? What makes change happen? How to move forward. And when I feel stuck with a client, when I feel stuck in a project, or when I feel stuck with my own colleagues, and that's the worst part, because I'm one of the owners, the founders, so I have most of the power, and still, I feel stuck. How to move? What the hell? I need to move forward. And I used to turn to my heroes. I have a few heroes in my life whom I follow, whom I admire, who I look up as idols. And one of them is called Adam Kahane, a consultant working for US Partners. He used to work in, let's say, large transformational projects. And he wrote a book about power and love, summarizing his learnings from his failures. And when I read it, I just felt, well, that's just exactly the same as I experienced. Although he was a consultant in the South African transition, facilitating a workshop where People came with armored vehicles from the prison, Nelson Mandela, and armored vehicles from the government. And also guerrillas came in and sat down and tried to figure out how to make the transition smooth, or quite promising projects like how to make Colombia a peaceful country, how to end the civil war there. So he took up quite challenging projects. And one of the learnings he said, and it's quite resonated with me, is that I used to work on the love side of change, create commitment, create enthusiasm, let people connect with each other, with feelings, accept each other, let them build up shared dreams, and then from that on it's going to be easy because they are together. And then he noticed, and I also used to notice that then not much happens. Not much happens because there is no power in the process. Power to take the necessary steps, power to face uncertainties and move forward. I think we consultants working on the human side of change, and it's a generalization, we tend to lean towards the love, not the hug, but just let people connect. And from that on, it's going to be easy. It's going to be easier. But without power, not much is going to happen, unfortunately. There is a nice quote, actually he's quoting Martin Luther King, power without love is reckless and abusive, love without power is sentimental and anemic. You need both. And I think, well, I don't like presentations with lots of shoulds, but let me say one. You should. Let both powers be present. Connection, support, empathy, shared dreams, and power to take action. Say no and say yes. Next page. Well, half page, or the other side of the page. There are many change projects where I realized that we have two priorities that seem to contradict with each other. We have two priorities that we cannot fulfill at the same time, although we should. How to move forward? Sometimes difficulties are created when we treat polarities as problems. Let me explain that. Polarity is a pair of priorities that seems to contradict with each other. Both are important to us. Represent something, an ongoing difficulty over the time. So it's not a problem that we can solve, like where to go to lunch. It's a problem. We discuss it and we decide we go there. But, sorry. Yeah. So like in your word, should we focus on the autonomy of the developers or the deadline that says promise to clients? Should we develop something stable, reliable, working environment? Should we focus on change, improvement, and be flexible as we can? Should we focus on the mission? How to change the world, how to make it a better place? Or make some money on the commercial side? Well, in retail, for example, volume and margin are the two parts of the same polarity. And let me tell beforehand that when you focus on one side of the polarity, you end up in deep trouble on the long run. So there is a dance. And first, let me invite you to have, if you have from your work experience, your own polarity, and just walk with me and follow me with your polarity. Let me bring in one of ours from our company that we used to argue a lot with my colleagues. Not recently, but in the last years we had some arguments around that. Well, when I put it together, it seemed silly, but still, let me show the silliness of us. So, where to move forward? We are a company of 16 people right now working in Budapest. And, well, we need to focus on the individual, because the individual is the one who can take responsibility. Individual motivations will move forward this company. We started from a university department, and if you worked in a university, you know that a department is quite an individualistic culture most of the time. So we should build on the individuals, because that's where the success is coming from. Or we should focus on a shared company strategy, a company brand, showing that we are together, we represent something together, and we are one. Where to focus in terms of communication, in terms of development, in terms of professional next steps. We argued a lot. It seems silly, but we argued a lot. And in the arguments, of course, there were opinions. I would not say facts, but there were opinions. Like on the individual motivation side, it's good because there is commitment, there is responsibility. If I want to do something, if I start something, then I committed to it. I feel cared for when I'm an individual. I have the freedom to take initiative, and also I have the freedom to say no. So I really own the place because it's mine and yours and his and all the others. So let's just focus on the individual side, because that gives the power. Of course, in the argument, the other side also had value, quite a lot of value. Instead of having individual brands, and then sometimes people just ask, are you with other partner also? What a surprise. I know a guy from that company. I just did not know that you are there. You are from there as well. So let's have a company brand. Let's have a shared identity instead of strong individuals. Common direction and common goals can give quite a lot of power, especially when we win big projects. And of course, we can have synergies if we have a company strategy. So both sides of the polarity had value. And of course, when the arguments went on and got bitter and bitter, let's say the yellow side started to bring up some bad news. You know, this individual side sucks. Because you can feel, you can just be left alone, having not enough projects, not enough work. There are no guidelines. If you feel like you can follow these principles, if you feel like you can follow that principles, and you can feel lost. And sometimes younger colleagues complained that they felt lost in a difficult client situation. Sometimes we have limited capacities for action, and as a company we can just fall apart, argued the company strategy side. Moving along, of course, and if we rely too much on individual motivations, and if we experience the fears and the difficulties, let's move up to the company strategy side. Then we are together, then we have a strong brand. So that was one side of the argument, and one side of the movement of the discussion. Of course, let's say, part of me or the guys on the individual side also had some arguments. You see, if we have a company strategy, that has downsides as well. That has downsides as well. There's a pressure to conform to the group. You get uniform, you will use your identity as an individual. You will be expected to melt in and disappear. And we can have very nice, shiny company goals, but there will be no individual commitment behind those. And if that's what we are going to experience, then we want to move up from the fear side to the individual motivations. And let's strengthen the individual motivations, because that gives us the energy to move forward and get more clients and get more income and get more projects, more fun, more learning, more opportunities. So that's a dance. And when you want to change or improve or learn or develop, let's use those as synonyms, you can spend quite a lot of time and energy in this dance when you want to decide. Individual or company. Actually, company or individual. I burned quite a lot of my energy in this. Just trying to decide where to move forward. And the good question is actually how to manage these polarities. Because it's an ongoing, as all the previous ones, it's an ongoing dilemma. And if you lean to one side as a decision, okay, let's follow this, let's follow that, you will end up losing. You will end up losing energy. You will end up on the fear side. In the arguments, when they were very heated, when we were very heated, we ended up very bitterly arguing just about the fears, instead of realizing the values of both. So instead of deciding, use the and. Company strategy and individual motivations. That's easier said than done, because it's not a moment when you can, okay, from now on, together, but every decision in terms of developments, in terms of investments, consider both. So here is the recipe. Easily, just notice a situation. This is a polarity which we should not decide how to manage, how to move forward, having both, juggling with both. And with two, it's easy to juggle. Be aware of the downsides of your dream part, like the downside of the company strategy, the downside. I'm very much for the individual, but I know that there are downsides. And aware of the upsides of the other when you are in an argument. They also have value. And mediate, if it's two people, mediate between them. If it's in your head, mediate your thoughts as well. Keep on moving with juggling, instead of being blind and just moving with one. Page 3 from the diaries. Where to intervene? If you are a change agent, you want to improve, you want to develop, you want to add value. But how? Limited resources, limited time, you have only one mouth. Whom to talk to? We are going to see a short movie, 2.5 minutes. It's an American reality show called MasterChef. In this episode, we are going to see a team of chefs working together, cooking in a real hotel, when there are guests outside at the table wanting to have breakfast, and there is a menu. Gordon Ramsay is just coming in. He's a famous chef and running this show with others as well. And the team starts working, preparing the orders. And after the clip, it's 2.5 minutes, I'm going to ask you to vote about your area of intervention. If you had a chance to intervene, to improve the performance of the team, where would you intervene? Would you take the leader to the side for a quick coaching, or putting her into a better framework to work, or just doing something to improve the performance? Because if you improve the leader, that will improve the whole team immediately. Or would you take the team together and build the trust and somehow improve the communication and the understanding and clarify roles and processes? And if those relationships improve, then the whole performance is going to improve, and even leader can work easily, or more easily with the team. Or would you just go and change the whole system because the setup defines failure immediately? Or you can have another option as well. I don't know what, but you can have other options as well. So, I hope it's going to work. 2.5 minutes. Make your own decision in these 2.5 minutes. Where to intervene? Oh, up. Yeah, I know what to do.
Okay, Eggs Benedict. I want Nico and Gabe on the hollandaise. Ebony, you're going to be doing the poaching.
Hello.
Of the eggs. I want Newton on the Canadian bacon and the bacon. Boston boys, Adam and Daniel on the potato waffle with the lobster. We have lemon ricotta pancakes. We'll get those done at the end.
I don't agree with the direction the captain is taking our team. She's got me poaching eggs. I could probably do 2 of these dishes by myself, and she's not utilizing anybody to the best of their ability.
All right.
Let's go. Go, find your station, get your knife.
I mean, it takes months before I even put any one of my cooks on the line. Kate has very strong personalities on her team. She has Daniel and she has Ebony. Both have a lot of gravitas. My concern with the red team is going to be...
Get your area straight up back here. The lemons out of the way. If we don't need the freaking lemons, get them out the way.
Who's using this water? You using this?
Yes, I'm using that.
I think the blue team's got a big advantage. They have age on their side and experience. Red team, we are live. Let's go. 4 covers, table 52. 1 lobster, 1 American, 2 omelettes. Give me a time, please.
6 minutes, chef.
Drive your team. Let's go.
I'm kind of freaking out right now. There's so many things going through my head, and it's very frustrating to try to organize chaos.
We need the tomato, no, I'm sorry. One Benedict. I have 1 Benedict.
All together.
All day.
The pressure is just so unreal. I'm just like, can I do this? I don't know.
Let's go, guys. Waffles in, pancakes on.
Kate, turn the gas on. We're standing there cooking. There's not even a gas on.
Take a deep breath. You got this.
Oh, dear. Red team,
Yes, chef.
in 25 minutes, we've served 1 table of 2. And I'm waiting on 1 lobster, 1 breakfast, 2 omelettes.
I have 1 omelet here.
Oh, my God.
Everybody timing this off. There's no communication. There's no leadership.
Where's the teamwork?
I got a lobster waffle. Let's go.
Kate's just barking out these orders, but nobody knows where they're going.
Adam,
Yes, chef.
the lobster. It's raw.
Adam's sending out raw lobster. Some food is getting cold.
My pancakes are up there and they're dying.
Come on, Nico, let's go.
This is a disaster.
Hey, young lady,
Yes, chef.
look at the omelette.
Oh, my God.
I've seen a diaper look more appetizing in the center than that.
I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. Guys, we need to get this together.
So, make up your mind, and please just give us the lights back. Let me see the room. It's okay, and on the room as well. I want to count the votes. So, where would you intervene? Coach the team leader, or clarify roles and processes, or just change the rules, or something else. So, who would work with the leader? Hands up. $24. Okay, it was 26. Sorry. Who would work with the team as a whole? It's, 87. Who would change the system? Well, it's like 14. And who would do something else? What would you do? I'm really curious. To what? He would change the environment. Less stress. So send the guests home. I'm joking and I'm not joking. If you follow Zimbardo's articles and speeches, he speaks a lot about how the environment and the systems and the rules just turn us into monsters sometimes. Well, there is no good answer. Or put it other way, sorry. All answers are good. Because, and again, it's something that I had to experience and learn that you can start at any point in a system. You can start at any point. You pick one, you start to develop, to improve, to pull, and others either will follow or will pull back. You talk to the leader, and she clarifies what to do, and she thinks it over, and she has a new overview how to proceed with the team, goes back, and the team hopefully will improve or will have a reaction to her steps. Or you get together the team and shout to them and ask them to clarify how they are going to work and who does what. And it will help the leader to clarify her role as well. Or we'll just create a pulling power, a pulling force towards the leader. Hey, you need to step up to lead this stronger team. Or you create a new environment, new rules, new systems, and the team need to adjust to this. So then how to decide? Where is the leverage? And the leverage is partly in you as a change agent. We all have our favorite areas of influence, areas of improvement. For example, us, with my colleagues, we have a strong belief that the individual level is quite important. Not surprising, we had that argument before around company and individual. We need to support the leader because that person can accelerate or hinder development. The team, the organization looks at the leader. Is he or she really following what's agreed? And if the person is strong in the role, then the organization will follow. So we are inclined let's start with the individual, or even if we do large group events or team events, we have a special attention to the leader. But that's us. There are some other colleagues who say that the higher the level of the intervention, the better. So let's intervene on the organizational level. Let's intervene in the frameworks, in the processes. And if you change the processes, people will adopt. Leaders will grow into the new role. What I experience more, you change the rules and the environment, and the old school behaviors will find their way. The old school leadership style will find its way in the new system as well. So just be mindful about the levels. Be mindful about the levels and make your choice. Look for where the leverage is. In a stressful situation like this, maybe it's better to work with the leader, to have let's say, a strong and authoritative, powerful force, create an order. Actually, it's interesting what Gordon Ramsay did as a change agent, because he just pulled together the team, shouted like hell as he used to do, and asked them to elect a new leader, to move forward. I don't think it was bad, it was good, it was one option. You always have options as a change agent. Next page. Be aware. Be aware of the level of the systems, be aware of the complexity, be aware of the polarities present in a situation, and be aware, most importantly, be aware of yourself. You are, as a change agent, you are the instrument of the change, and you have something very special, an analog tool, an analog measurement instrument called your body, yourself. Be aware of yourself like hell. I also have favorite quotes, as I already shown. There is another one coming. The success of an intervention depends on the internal conditions of the intervener. How focused you are, how determined you are, it influences. It does not decide, but it influences the success of the intervention. What's going on with you? Where is your power? Where is your love in a situation? Are you fully present? Or are you behind your defensive walls and try to protect yourself? It matters a lot. I just remember Peter yesterday talking about putting his daughter to sleep. Your success of a parent putting your children to sleep depends on your internal conditions. I learned that because the result of that marriage in '96 resulted, the marriage in '96 resulted in 3 children, so I had to put them into sleep many times. And I just learned that if I'm relaxed, if I'm speaking slowly, if I'm there, it's much easier. When I'm tense, when I just want to focus on, let's just sleep, and because I have lots of things to do, they get angry, I got angry, and it ended up in tears. Mine and theirs as well. So the success of your intervention depends on your internal conditions. And your internal conditions and our internal conditions, actually, let's have me in the picture as well, very much depend on the voices in your heads. And just we can admit right now, right here, that sometimes we have voices in our heads and they will not take us away into an asylum. Voices that just interpret the situation. Voices that help us to make meaning. What's going on? Yesterday, Moni called them sunglasses that create an understanding or help us to create an understanding. Let's call them voices just right now. What kind of voices I'm talking about? If in a given situation, as a change agent or as a leader, the strongest voice in my head, in me, is the voice of curiosity. And just the belief that my opinion and my voice, it matters. And I'm just really curious, what's going on? Then I just become open in my thoughts towards the world and towards myself as well. If the voice is the voice of judgment, they are going to judge me. They're going to think that I've never worked with IT companies and I'm 51 and I don't know much about the tech world. Right now, I feel that I'm losing my power, losing my voice. If I put this speaker into my head, set into my head, listening to the voice of judgment, I start losing my power here and now. If the voice of the compassion is there, I want to improve your life. I'm here to support. I feel empathized. I feel empathy towards you. Then, again, it's easier to step. It's easier to connect. It's easier to create a togetherness. If the voice is the cynicism, they are not interested. Again, I'm too old to them. They want to have techniques, not these fluffy feelings and thoughts and whatever. Who cares? It's just a talk, like all the others. And again, I, as an intervener, I, as a change agent, just losing my power. Which voices are there? Which voices are we listening to? If the voice of courage is there, let's do this, let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. Then I'm willing to make a move. Then I'm just here for you. Then I'm here to listen. Then I'm here to try out things. If the stronger voice is the voice of fear, well, they will score me quite low and they will post how stupid I was. And well, all the organizers will say that this was a failure. I got hurt. And I, again, just lose my voice, lose my impact. Which voices are there? Be aware of them. Open mind, open heart, open will are created by listening and strengthening the, let's say, the blue tones. And the red tones create closed mind, closed personality. The red tones, red voices lead to being absent, being away. Let's say the blue tones lead to connection with who I am. What is the best of myself? And if I'm connected to the best of myself, we can work on the world, and we can work on creating situations that we want to be there. We can create workspaces where we want to belong. With the red tones, we can't. This comes from the theory U, actually, developed by Otto Scharmer in the Presencing Institute. And of course, that's a more complex theory, but the core is listening outside on all the three levels, thoughts, feelings, and the will, and listening inside as well, because the success of the intervention depends on your interior conditions. So stay optimistic and be prepared. Just going back, summing up in words. Cultivate power and love. Not just the love part, not just the power part, but somehow together. Identify and manage polarities. Don't decide. Oh, make decisions with the polarities in your head. Keep a systemic awareness. Even when you see a leader who is performing very badly, maybe he or she is doing so because the team is just not there yet, or the framework is not supporting at all. So don't put the whole responsibility on the system, on the team, on the leader. Look at the big picture and connect with yourself. Well, in an image, that's the same. Move forward and balance. If you just only balance, then you don't move. And you have to sleep somehow on the slack line. If you move without balancing, on the slack line, the feedback is very quick. In real life, you can move unbalanced for a long time. So the same thing in an image and in words expressed. Thank you. Thank you. A famous quote, one more thing. From here, you can go and read, and I really recommend, go and read. Collaborating with the Enemy, it's a great book, came out this year from Adam Kahane. I recommend the organizers to use collaboration for the next year's Stretch Conference topic, by the way. Great book. Most of the collaboration is imagined as, collaborate with like-minded guys. That's easy. How to collaborate with the other department, how to collaborate with the sales guys as a developer. If you are interested in the polarities, Barry Johnson wrote a very nice book, and he's working on a new edition coming out next year. Or you can take the free edX course about Theory U. It's just going. You can join right now or read the book. So 3 steps from here on. Thank you.
Thank you, Csaba. Thank you very much. We are running a little bit behind, so we're going to do just one question, and then we'll have a little bit of a break. How does a change agent keep herself or himself fueled and on top of his game? Mm-hmm. So the agent themselves.
Working on myself. So currently I'm in a supervision group with other change agents, let's say, developers, consultants, working on our own cases. So reflection and learning about recent experiences, sleeping enough, going for holidays, spending quality time with my kids. It's easier said than done. That's it. And I personally used to end up in trouble because I'm quite enthusiastic towards my work and towards my client. And when I lose my motivation, sometimes When I lose my motivation, that's a late sign of something is not going well in the project. So then I just suffer.
All right. Let's all say thank you to Csaba.
Thanks. And sorry for the extra time.
That's okay.